What is student engagement and how do you inspire it? Hello, thank you for joining me today. I am Marian Busfield with Engaging Curiosity. Please check, like, and subscribe as I would love to reach as many of our colleagues as possible. So, what is student engagement? Student engagement is when you see interested, curious, and motivated students. Why is it important? Because your children, the students, are designed to learn. Now, I grant you that sometimes their exploration looks a little stupid, like if they're checking to see if their tongues really will stick to a frozen pole, but they are just being curious. In fact, they're just trying to learn about states and properties of matter the hard way. I remember starting my journey in the classroom being overwhelmed with the responsibility of finding something, anything to keep them on task all of the time, at the same time, at different levels, all day long. And wow, was that a challenge. Teacher burnout is real for a reason, and I had to find a way to avoid burnout. And then I got to thinking, so why is engagement important in the classroom? Disengaged students require constant rewards, consequences, extra time, extra homework, and notes to parents, which leads to their frustration and our disenchantment. Engaged students are motivated, inspired, curious, and easy to manage because they are on task. They will still need support, but they are a joy, and we teachers end the day with full hearts. At least I did. So how to measure student engagement in the classroom? I know that I am looking for bright-eyed, enthusiastic focus, but I don't think that's enough. I often did lose sleep over the tension between the time I had, the curriculum, and age-appropriate attention spans. And I often spent some time wondering how far do I need to get in this unit during this period. Too often I lost my focus on the truth that my job was to teach children, and I would focus on teaching curriculum instead. So I remember when my vice principal was observing me for my evaluation. It was a challenging art project, button blankets, that had not gone as quickly as it had with another class the year before. And I looked around the classroom. I could see their enthusiasm and dedication. However, this project involves some tricky tracing and cutting felt, which is hard on fine motor skills. I know that their eyes look keen, but their engagement could have quickly been replaced with frustration as I tried to stretch them too far. This happens, of course, but what was I going to do? I was worried about my vice principal was thinking, and because he was watching, and he was taking notes. My job here was to focus on the students and remember the kiddos and avoid creating off-task behavior. So I breathed deep and I assessed, and I looked at those beautiful faces that had listened so well and worked so hard. I passed out my art envelopes to our finished projects until the next art class. They were so grateful to go to buddy reading and have some reading social time after that intense effort because it had worked their motor skills so hard. They also knew I was proud of them for their hard work, which is a much better way to end a lesson than frustration from both sides. My vice principal, Mr. Z, applauded my decision, so my fears were to no purpose. He too could see how hard it was and how well they had done. So, how to measure student engagement in the classroom varies according to the situation. I am looking for hands up, eyes focused, and on-task behavior, but not always. That's not always enough. I'm also adjusting how and when I deliver the lesson using my knowledge of their physical, mental, and emotional limits and needs and ensuring I am working within those parameters. So how to increase student engagement? Classroom management and student engagement always go hand in hand. The first step was always to create classroom expectations together in my class. There were many daily classroom management questions and answers that I put to the kids. Do you want to choose your own partners, or would you like to use partner cards? Would you like to run laps or do Go Noodle for an active game? Should we pull out the STEM kits or direct a drawing for free time? By giving students these simple choices that I could live with, I raised their sense of ownership and authority in the classroom. Now, student engagement increased by creating engagement within the curriculum. Of course, kids still need to be kids. They want to play with their friends, and I loved watching students play, truthfully. We incorporated play within the curriculum. Lego models as part of their planning for writing. Reader's Theater is one of the great classroom activities to engage students. Building toys and racing them as part of Force and Motion. And then some of you might ask, are games educational? We played math and spelling games daily, and my students excelled in both areas, and they loved math and spelling time. Reading together happened all the time, and I gotta say, there's no better way, in my humble opinion, to create engagement than reading with a friend or a loved one. And there was open-ended play too, as I often had items related to something we were studying on a counter near the window for them to explore. There were team projects such as our Christmas tree mural. Everyone's individual product was lovely, but together they were better. Challenging students academically and creating a growth mindset was also significantly important. For this, differentiation in the classroom is essential. Students should frequently be working with their zone of proximal development, or ZPD, and working within the ZPD creates a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So what is a growth mindset? Growth mindset is knowing that something will be hard to do and believing that with hard work and perseverance, it can be done. Any classroom activities can be done with a growth mindset if the student is working within their ZPD. If the work is within their ZPD, is an excellent growth mindset activity as the level of challenge is manageable. And developing a growth mindset could also include developing perseverance. If I was stretching them, I was also scaffolding them for success. Asking the class to read quietly for 5 more minutes when I need time to finish one-on-one reading assessments worked because reading was a preferred activity. Math lessons could be stretched by a few minutes as long as it was interactive and they were using their whiteboards, which they loved. During the art activity I mentioned above, I had everyone working on the same step at the same time. I scaffolded their attention span for the activity and their patience for their peers by having students who were done that step read from their book box while they were waiting. It worked like a charm. The prep involved in this scaffolding was simple. Note to self, kids need book boxes at their desks. Hard stuff. Regardless though, when I finished stretching them, I expressed my gratitude and I acknowledged that it was hard. We looked at our growth mindset anchor charts, which were on the wall behind me in my classroom, and reiterated our classroom mantra. Did we do hard things? I asked. Yes, they shouted. Did we give up? No, they would shout. Are you proud of yourself? Yes, they would shout. Can you do hard things? Absolutely. And then I would glow with pride. So leadership engagement activities are important too. Leadership classroom activities are essential for engagement. I always taught that servant-hearted leadership was the goal for our classroom. Leading the line appropriately is leadership. Reorganizing the math bucket is leadership. Cleaning up when it's time rather than delaying is leadership. Helping a friend who is stuck is leadership. And so there are other options. Can you invite another class in once a week for STEM or reading time? Before the guests come, chat with your students. You are responsible for kindly leading the students from the other class as to how we engage with the STEM kids. How do we respond when it is time to clean up? Where do we put the kits when we have finished cleaning up? So, now, how to create an engaging classroom. Students need 1, ownership in the classroom, 2, collaborative work on engaging topics and activities, 3, real responsibilities, 4, developing a growth mindset, which includes your differentiation, and 5, opportunities to lead. If you have a favorite strategy for creating student engagement, I would love it if you shared it in the comments below. Please remember to be clean and kind so that our colleagues can draw from your experience. I also ask that you enjoy the link down below to create for my free classroom management checklist, and press like and subscribe, and there's an opportunity for you to receive my newsletter at the link below. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye now.